Welcome, everybody, to episode 55 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm your host, Eddie Potts, co-host
Mark Simpson.
We are alone in the studio today, so we are going to just roll through
Just
everything.
rock and roll. Let's just do it.
I want you to just give a new version of why we're here. A new version.
And we're here for ourselves.
There you go.
You know what? That's a new version. You know what? We're here because we kind of like doing this.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. And it's interesting. We walk around, and look, we're not going crazy any of this stuff, but every now and then you show up at a trade show. I was in Las Vegas, randomly walking down a hall of IC West, which biggest security guy who I used to work with 15 years ago. Oh, I see you on the podcast. I'm
Nice.
like, dude, you serious? And then I just a guy in Charlotte sends me, oh, I see your podcast come up. I'm like, are you serious, dude?
Tell them to like and subscribe. And subscribe.
So we're there, we're talking, we're doing this, and you know what? Secretly, we kind of enjoy doing it a little bit. It's a little fun. It's a little hobby for us, and maybe a little bit more.
A lot of value in it. A lot of value in a lot of different ways. And today's show is definitely going to be one that's very different. I told you before, I'm wearing my girly shirt. One of my daughters bought me this Barbie shirt because I'm not afraid to wear pink with my daughters.
There you go. You got to be able to pull it off.
Has a lot to do with why we're here today. So it is Monday, so we jump into sports moment. We could talk about the 9-3 Mets. Last 12 games. We could.
I'm going to bring that up later. I got a whole question for you about that later.
All
But my sports moment?
Yeah.
Listen, as the most important team to me is the Mets, at least there's a foundation that appears to be in place. So we'll take that. I will still go to games as much as it pains me and whatnot. Wish Shane is back, so we'll be going to games and go from there. So sports moment is at least there's some level of baseball to watch.
I want to send out a shout out to someone who passed away. Tommy John.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy John was someone I grew up cheering for, rooting for. I knew about his surgery. I knew about Joe, the man who did the surgery. I know what it's become in the industry, but I followed that man's career. Played 26 years.
And shout out to the Yankee organization because they let Tommy John say his goodbye for Old Timers Day. Very classy move.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that. I really was.
Very classy move. And I don't think I didn't realize how sick he was. It was just going to be a matter of days.
Yeah, it was young. 83 years old. It wasn't old.
We say 83 is young, but,
All right, chapter 13 in the book. This is about your leave behind message. That's really, what does it sound like? What do people think about it when they get an email from you or a voicemail or a text? The value in knowing that you need to improve your writing skills on a daily basis allows us to not sit back and just rest on our laurels, and making sure that your leave behind message is one that motivates someone to do something.
And your leave behind message is not such that you come across as annoying.
It's a sales pitch.
Right. That you've done everything, and now there's a follow-up call or an email or text three days later, and the first response from the potential customer is, ugh.
Him.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's we don't hear ourselves. Ty White, who did the show with me before you were here, worked in my office for about a year, and I would critique his leave behind message because he thought it was really good. And then we recorded it one day, and I said, now I want you to say these things. And he went and said those things, and the smile on his face was the answer. It was like, holy shit, didn't realize I sounded there. And now I sound like this.
You're never as good as you think you are. And I think that's a good point, too, is anytime you're willing to hear and record, because it's hard watching yourself or listening to yourself.
I see my clips come up and
it's hard watching it,
So the action statement is really simple. Open yourself up to letting someone you trust hear you do a voicemail. Get a pitch email or your first email to a client.
Right.
Just so you could hear some feedback and get some critiquing, just positive stuff.
Right.
But you got to be open to it.
Yeah, and so let me ask you a question. So when you talk about being open to it, right? And I always try to relay ourselves to this. So as a young salesperson, 25-year-old guy, in there a little bit. You hear that message, yeah, be open to it. As a 50-plus-year-old guy, you probably take it a little different. Say,
Take it almost personally. Whoa, what's wrong with my pitch?
However, I think one of the things that's key, even as you move on in your career, is you have to be open because things are just different, man. The way everybody
things are changing every day.
It's drastically changing, and I think the ability to adapt with it is key.
That's my key. It's actually my key because it's what's making me continue to have the success I'm having at the rate I didn't realize I could get here. Like my numbers for work are ooh, wow, I'm really, really killing it. So you're gonna love my word of the day.
Go ahead.
Gonna love it. Sorority.
Oh, geez.
I chose sorority for different reasons, but it brings it back to sales. The entire bid process was an interview and a sale. I'm selling you on this sorority, on why you should be here, and you're selling me on why we want you.
They've created a demand or created a want. It is, I mean, listen, we both dealing with the University of South Carolina. Both, like literally, you can't make this up. You can't make this up, right? The demand, the TikTok videos, the Instagram, the social media, it's a whole business in itself. And it created like this special feeling. Even in sales, you think about it, right? It creates like, we always said VIP or kind of the want to be there. It's what they have done is amazing. And it is the growth. South Carolina, biggest sorority pledge class in the USA.
And it's funny, I'm going to put the clip of my two daughters. So my wife was down there. She drove down Saturday with Emily.
Yep.
Lexi's rushing. She has two choices, and it turns out her tops is Emily's Phi Mu. And my wife's up in the rafters taking pictures, and she zooms in, and she gets a picture of the two of them before the announcement. And they're holding each other, and they got these big, cool looks on their face, and then a video gets shot when the announcement came. One of the girlfriends from the sorority videotaped the two of them, and it just made me want to cry in one sense. Happiness. My wife got to experience it with her, and the two of them are going to spend the next year together.
Yeah, I have never been on social media so much as yesterday. As we were saying before, my head was buried. I was watching TikTok, Instagram. I was going ChatGPT looking for updates. To see, okay, what lists. And then when everything came out and I finally was able to get on and see the live feed, they have it in the stadium or an arena.
Union Hall.
And they keep coming. And oh my goodness. And this is, I was happy and relieved.
The relief part was there.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But the why I use sorority is, it's another organization that builds people. And what my older daughter has learned being part of that sorority has helped her in her business sense, because she got to be treasurer and got to manage a $750,000 budget for a year. That was really amazing. But just the camaraderie that they all want each other to succeed.
I have to give a little. So as a I guess always lifetime as a Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Okay.
I was a fraternity guy, and when I went to school, I never wanted to be part of it. Unlike our daughters, the first thing they did, they were like, "Oh, we're going there early." I never wanted to be part of it. I did it. It was the best thing I ever did. Sigma Alpha Epsilon, still connected to a bunch of guys, and it does like anything else. You do networking organizations. Yeah. It's the same type of thing. You get out there, you get uncomfortable, you're put in situations that you don't really want to deal with.
So it's really ironic that I bring my wife into this, because she was at Siena. There was no fraternities, there were no sororities. It was a Catholic school, college at the time. And she came out of that school with 12 best friends that to this day see each other as a group. Once a year they travel together, and then twice a year we all get together for Get the Let Out, and then there are splinter-off groups that get together once a month for dinners, and this has been going on for 35 years.
Right.
And they're sisters, they're part of their own sorority. It's called Sienna.
Yep.
The Sienna Sisters, and that's what they call themselves.
It's a bond. You have bonds that get created. Like we work with people, you create bonds. You have social things that you create bonds. It's kind of the same thing. You're just seeing the sorority. The what we just saw is almost not like bonding on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, yeah.
All right, so because we're here alone today, we're going to jump into tequila time. Do a quick shot to get our blood boiling on a Monday morning.
It certainly does boil, yes. And
No doubt.
this is not water. It's the real deal.
No, it's not water.
This is the real deal.
From Twisted Cow Distillery.
And Twisted Cow is making a name. A lot of people talking about it locally.
A lot of people talking about him. I spoke to John the other day. He might be sponsoring my Tequila Tuesday.
That's great.
On September 8th. He knows the charity that we're raising money for, which is the Daniel Conti Foundation. We raised $3,000 last year at this event.
Right. And again, the Tequila Tuesday started off as a little backyard event. There's a chance at some point we might be like, uh-oh, I might need porta potties.
I know, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So cheers to John. Cheers to Tequila
and
Tuesday.
Congratulations to our daughters.
Wow, we have no waters.
Nope, we just
got no chases.
Listen, we could keep going with the shots.
All right, so we know tequila time is old and new.
Yep.
About a year ago, I asked Chris Looney, who was on the show. He actually co-hosted one episode, businessman in the gummy CBD industry.
Yep.
But he is a genius writing program. And I asked him to write me a program to help me with a report that I run at Pods to identify businesses in a faster motion. When he came back to me, he was like, it's going to be $5,000. I was like, no, thank you. I then got introduced to somebody else who could help me using AI. And they said, oh, we have to go through all these corporate protocols to do so. My company's not going to
red tape. Yeah. You gotta be more flexible, right?
Got to be more flexible. So I ran the report yesterday, working on the weekend. I was home alone. Wife is away, and I take the list and I highlight the email column, and I go on ChatGPT and I say, ChatGPT, is there a way for you to identify businesses from this spreadsheet? Businesses only. I want to reach out to businesses. Can you help me? Now, this report is 26,000 lines.
Right.
And I normally do it manually. Within about 7 minutes, ChatGPT spit out an Excel spreadsheet. These are all the emails that we deem look like a business, could be a business, might be a business. Now, the stupid man in my business, because I've seen them, they would just take that whole file and just do a group email.
Just a blast.
I reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
What normally took me 4 to 6 days, I will be done in 1 day. 1 day.
No, that's that's the efficiency though of where they talk with AI.
And I'm like, wow. And the next time I try it, I'm going to take that same report, delete all the ones that aren't businesses, do it myself, delete it all, because ChatGPT can't clarify that at AT&T isn't a business or it's just somebody's email account. I'm going to take the file, delete all the ones that I know aren't businesses. I'm going to put it in ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, can you individually email this email, and then drop in the email I want.
Does that tie into your CRM system? Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it can do it automatically, all of them, or not. I don't know yet. I'll find out. But my old and new is like, I cured my own freaking problem. People wanted lots of money. People didn't want to help me, blah, blah, blah.
No, that's great.
And it's Monday, 10 o'clock when I left my house, and I was 3/4 of the way done with a list that normally took me 4 to 5 days to search through.
Right.
Blew me away, bro.
Well,
Very proud of myself.
I'm trying to figure out, and I'm open to suggestions here. So I'm trying to use AI, whatever we call it, ChatGPT, others, to help with the financial close. And everyone's like, oh yeah, we're automating the close. But there's still a lot of...
You have to check this.
There's still, at least in my world, I haven't gotten to the point where it can be like press a button. It's more like there's still time. There's
You still have to look at things.
Oh, yeah, and even present it the way that it needs to be presented. There's still a level.
It's not one shoe fits all.
No, and that's I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone spits out, oh, AI. Okay, well, what exactly do you mean? What exactly is it doing?
Right.
And I feel like the industry gets caught up with, remember like probably 25 years ago it was like TQM was the buzzword.
Yeah.
And then we had other buzzwords.
I haven't heard that.
Right. But no, what happens is there's like we get, it's like a fad. We get, TQM, what was there was other buzzwords, and now it's AI, and people just say it out there, and it's like, or the other buzz, cloud. So, it's on the cloud. Okay, well, explain to me what cloud means.
Yeah,
explain to me what AI means.
It's funny you say that because I got a guy in my networking group who's a marketing guy, and he, every week for 7 weeks, we're coming along with our AI program. That was all he had to say. He had nothing else to say.
Right,
like,
so what does it mean? Yeah.
What do you rested your laurels?
Yeah, and I think this is one thing too. I think as you get older, I'm not afraid. Like I just say, look, I don't understand. Like
I dumb it down for me.
And I think people, I don't know, but I think people appreciate. Hey, dude, what is it that you're really saying?
Right.
I think a lot of that comes in, oh, yeah, we're doing this. And like when you talk to some really high-level tech guys, like, dude, just translate to English for me. That's really what we care about.
All right, big wins. One is my daughter. Daughters, my wife, my family. It's a huge win. Huge win for the family that Lexi chose to go to South Carolina. Huge win for the girls to spend a year. And the other thing is, if my daughter does end up in Charlotte, she's an hour and a half away from my daughter.
Not only that, honestly, we've talked about this. As younger folks coming out, the scary part is it's consistently inconsistent. A lot of kids coming out of school don't have jobs. The fact that your daughter has a job waiting for her in a market that's more affordable than New York, and it's different type of situation, tremendous.
My friend's son just rented an apartment in a high-rise apartment downtown Charlotte,
which is uptown.
Yeah. $2,700, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, balcony, pool, the whole shebang. $2,600.
Okay, and that's $5,000 in New York City.
Right.
Easy.
Oh.
And when you walk out on the street, who knows what you're going to get for that privilege of paying $5,000? Yeah.
What's your big one,
dude? You know what? I'm going to piggyback right off that. South Carolina, I can't say at this point, I'm 10 days in. It's been exhausting. It's been exhausting, man. But I'm very excited. She's gone in and, she wanted to be in sorority. She got the one she wanted. She's got a major that she likes. Do I like it? I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But the whole goal was, hey, man, get out of here.
Get out of Colmac.
See what you like, and it's dicey those first couple of days. If you go on social media as a parent, first go around, it's not as easy. Hey, drop off and go from there. Even if these kids, my kids were a sleepaway kid. I was like, it's sleepaway camp. No, it's not. It's a little different gig.
No.
So yeah, I'll take that. We'll talk personal today. That is, it's very exciting. I feel like I'm living
vicariously through them.
Right.
And so I told my daughters that last night. Yeah. I said, please keep me inundated, keep shit. Yeah. And I've been texting Lexi, and her and my wife talk every day.
Right.
I'm not to talk every day. She does the good nights every night. I do it every couple of days. But she's responding to my text messages within an hour.
Yeah, no,
which I love.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, I guess, are we considered we're Gamecock family?
We're a cocky family, man.
So let me tell you this. So I'm driving out of Kings Park the other day, right by the train station. The guy says something, asked me he's walking, asked me a question. I'm in the car with Sheena. Anyway, he's got a game. He goes, oh, it's whatever, something. He goes, is that a Gamecock shirt? He goes, yeah. He's like, oh, I just dropped my son. I was like, so did I. Half hour in the parking lot of Ace Hardware. Yeah.
There you go. It's going to be a great 4 years.
I hope so.
I've already been there for 3 years. We love it so much. We go 2 to 3 times a year.
Yep.
We're not. We love the South, so that's been great. Are you going for family weekend? If you are, you shouldn't.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So here's the thing.
Go the first week in October with us.
I'm going to go, but remember, I kind of have a cheat sheet because I got other business to attend down there.
I know that. But
So
the homecoming's not worth $600 a night for a room that you normally paid $150.
I know to stay further away.
We did too when we went down there last week to drop Lexi off. We were about 2 miles. We stayed at the Hyatt that you stayed at that I picked you up on when we went to
the wrong one. I was the wrong. Yeah.
I got there and I'm like, I picked up Mark at this hotel.
Yeah.
And then we went out to dinner. I'm like, oh, we ate dinner right over here. This long, it was so funny. But if you were thinking of going, it's overhyped.
So what I'm thinking of doing, only because, like, what's nice about that area, you're like 2 hours from Charleston, 2 hours from Myrtle, 3 hours from Savannah.
From Charlotte.
Yeah, hour and a half from Charlotte. So, again, in this scenario, if you look at housing and, next phase of life, you just never know. There's a lot of potential opportunity that you can really get your money at this point goes a little bit further than it does here.
So normally when we're down there, we visit friends and we fly into Charlotte and visit Sienna Girl and Guy that we're great friends with. We travel together and we stay at their mansion on the lake. We invited them down Wednesday, Thursday to Folly Beach in South Carolina. Actually, we're going to Charleston, but Folly Beach is where we're going to stay. It's just an amazing beach resort town. I love it. Only been there once, but fell in love. 2 days later, we get an email. We just rented this place. Why don't you stay with us? And it was a 6-bedroom house right on the fucking water.
Nice.
And it was like, I'm like, we're in.
I think
we're in.
I think I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time getting to know the areas because I think, you look at it where just sale, the amount of companies that are moving there, the amount of business that's moving there, I think there's a lot of opportunity.
No doubt. Best business decision of the week. This was, people don't buy into this, but I took off every Friday for the past 7 weeks. Every Friday. So I worked a 4-day week, tied in with 4th of July. I worked a 4-day work week for the past 7 weeks of the summer. That extra day off just recharged me. R&R.
Right.
Doing Saturday projects on Friday. Saturday doing nothing but floating in the pool, relaxing with the wife and kids, going here, going there. This past week was my first full week. I was okay. And then I said, I got more vacation time. And I checked off in the next 5 weeks, I will only be working a 4-day week.
At the fall, if you can get the Fridays off in the fall because there's so much cool stuff going on. Yeah.
Well, we're in South Carolina, we're in Rhode Island, so I got things going on, so that's pretty cool. What about you?
So I'll go professional on this. SEM, so we have different lines of business, right? And a lot of times, I hate, being all professional, but I'll go there for a second. So we have different lines of business, and sometimes there's a line that you believe in, but the revenue hasn't been there. And a lot of times you get into a situation, you say, okay, do I continue to invest in that line of business? Because you think there's opportunity.
You think,
but there's been a financial drag.
Right.
And it becomes, well, how long is the runway until you pull the trigger? Because once it's still a significant decision. It usually costs jobs. It's a change. So we were faced with something like that, and we said, we're going to stay the course. Knock on wood, we stayed the course on one aspect of the SEM business, and that might be the leading revenue segment in the next 2 years.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Patience paid off, but
patience is hard. Patience is hard. Patience is expensive.
You also know that if you stay too patient on something and it doesn't turn,
one of the hardest things,
throwing more money into it in hopes that it comes, bad decision.
I think one of the trickiest parts when you get put into different kind of situations in business is how long do you stay patient versus when you rip the Band-Aid off.
Right.
And I don't know if there's some people say, oh, you know what, you rip the Band-Aid off and you go where it goes. And some people say, I want to give it a little while longer. And it's like an art.
Do you have a gut feeling kind of thing? Is that what you rely on? I know it's an old expression.
I try to move away from gut and think about like actual data from a market perspective. Do you see, does the market warrant, does the opportunities makes sense why you believe you should stay patient. So that's what we did. And, there's some stuff with this line of business with the changes in government regulation and whatnot that really could propel it. So we'll see.
Awesome. I'm up to networking tips. Before you go out, get ready. Don't be the guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt when everybody else is wearing dress shirts. Don't come straight from the beach with your hair standing up and looking like you're disheveled and you really didn't put much into it.
Right.
Put some effort into your appearance. Be event appropriate. I went to an event recently all duded up and everybody was in shorts and Bahama shirts, and I was like, I didn't read the email.
Always better to be over than under.
Very true, very true.
Yep.
But it made me think, do your homework before you're going out. Do your homework. What is this event? Are we going out on a boat? Are we going to a bar? What's the significance?
Right. Fair. So, what I would say is gear up energy-wise. It's interesting. I was talking with my daughter. We'll go back to the sorority stuff because it's so fresh, right? And basically, it's exhausting because you have to be on, and when you come, right, you have to be on.
Got to be on.
And so, personalities like mine, it's what do we call it? It's socially exhausting. And again, knowing me, and a lot of people that know me, very friendly. I'm not a huge goer-outer, huge event person, but I have a lot of. I look at everything, and to me, everything's an opportunity, and and sometimes it's exhausting. But I think from a networking situation, even when I go with you or something like that, I mentally have to gear up to go outside the comfort zone, to approach people where I normally would be like, hey, I just want to chill here.
I get it.
I say, don't just show up. We've said this before.
Yeah.
Show up, whether it's my energy drink or whether, but it's basically you be prepared and say, all right, you know what, at this point, as you get older, I don't want to waste time with anything. If I go somewhere, I want to make it worthwhile.
Make it worth your while.
Right.
And that's why I've been super selective this summer, almost on the borderline of not doing a lot of things, doing strategic things, making sure I'm out there at least twice a month, 3 times a month, but not overdoing it anymore. I don't need to overdo it anymore. But my focus has shifted and my side hustle has shifted, and I want to share this with you. You're going to get to your, I wrote a syllabus for a business class based on the book, based on the podcast, based on me, and I wrote it and then asked ChatGPT to help me put together a syllabus because I never have done that before. And we worked together. I say we worked together. I felt like it was my teammate. And I came up with something really good. And I actually sent it to a college.
Nice.
Haven't heard back. It was just on Friday. But, ChatGPT is like telling me this really could be a curriculum that you could sell across, sell out there, and I'm thinking of teaching it in person, and they're talking about making it a franchise business. It's like, whoa, but very intriguing. But I'm proud of myself that I was able to focus long enough to sit down for 2 hours, put my thoughts on paper. What do I really want to do? And I want to teach this in a class format of college education.
That's great, man. I always joke. I work a lot. Everyone knows it is what it is, right? But I joke that I want to either drive a snowplow or be a crossing
I get
crossing.
It. Crossing, yeah, sure.
Make it simple. But on the flip side, it'd be great to take real life experience into the classroom. I was dealing with somebody recently. Again, protect the names, but people are opening a business. It's not as easy as you think. Oh, we just hire. Well, if I don't have money for a lawyer, opening a bank account, a business bank account, isn't as easy.
Business insurance.
It's not as easy as you think. And when you're younger, it's almost predatory because you see people who, when they find you, they know when you just don't understand, and you just, I got to get this done to do this, or so there's a lot of things that you can be taken advantage of if you're not guided appropriately.
What I saw, and it happened to me, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I opened up a business not knowing how to run a business. And if someone didn't take business classes, they should not open a business. If someone doesn't know accounting and checkbooking, don't open a business. I mean, those are so important.
I agree. And now when I talk about opening businesses or buying stuff, and I'll get into this, but I always, the biggest thing for me, just from what I see, is making sure you have sales. If you have sales, the accounting, the operations, and so to me, I always look at, okay, can the business generate revenue? Because if you take, no matter whatever it is, if you have something that generates revenue, we can pretty much figure out structure around it to generate a business. And that's the biggest thing that I see now. And at least some of the companies I've been involved in, it was always a question, would you rather have a sales problem or an operational problem?
There you go.
I would take an operational problem all day long because I can fix that, where the sales problem is sometimes I'm selling where the market's basically telling me, hey,
there's nothing here.
Right. And that's the biggest worry and concern I would have ever starting a business.
So what do you got there, Bob?
Well, we roll right into it, man.
Roll into it.
So I'm going to treat you like a professional salesman. You are a professional salesman, true grinder, and whatnot. And you and I could be like in a back room if we were doing our own little business. And this is like a little bit behind the scenes stuff, right? And by the way, I would cross my other leg, except apparently when you have a bad hip, this one doesn't go over that one. So there it goes. So let me ask you something. What happens in your past experience if you're selling a product, right, and you don't believe in the product? And so you take a job. Let's pretend you're a younger kid, right?
I'm going to answer your question.
Yeah.
I have never sold anything that I didn't want to sell.
So let me ask you, kids coming out of college, right, and they get solicited. Oh, you want to be a financial planner. Oh, you want to be whatever type of salesman, which is really code for you're going to be cold calling or you're going to be doing this, which is fine. But what happens when you figure out if you're giving advice to a younger person and they're selling something, they don't even understand what they're selling? What would you say to that person?
Go to the top sales rep in the company.
Smart.
Ask them to give you a one-on-one at a restaurant for an hour. You'll buy them dinner. And tell me how this works.
That is really good advice.
How does this work?
That is very good advice.
And
don't be afraid to not know.
Don't be afraid to not know, and take some money out of your pocket, make it worth their time.
Yep.
They'll see you as someone who's being respectful, you're being honest, you want to succeed because you've saddled up with the best. They can tell you to fuck off, but chances are with the dinner reservation and the opportunity, it won't happen.
Let me ask you something. When you started out, were you ever in a role where you were cold calling or door knocking?
Door knocking, the church industry.
You were selling religion.
I was selling yearbooks.
So what do you think? Do you think as a young person, even maybe, let's suppose you don't go to college. Let's suppose you're coming
I didn't go to college.
There you go. What do you think that you don't really see that too much today? But what would you say to someone who's cold calling or door knocking as their first sales job?
Again, the product. I got to know the product. I got to know why.
So your first piece of advice is say, okay, it doesn't matter how you're doing it, understand what you're selling.
Understand what you're selling. Why do we need this? What is the weak spot in someone's mind? Why do you need solar? Maybe you're a Greenpeacer. Maybe that's you walk up and there's a peace sign on the door. Maybe they're into taking care of the planet.
Right.
Know your product. Know what it serves.
Right. Well, and again, security industry, some of the biggest companies were built on door knocking.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting thing. How would you, and someone comes to your house now, and in Comac, you can still door knock. How do you now, in your role now, when someone door knocks?
When I don't hide from them, sometimes they get me outside.
Right.
I give them 20 seconds. I want to hear something in 20 seconds.
Right.
Not how nice the day is, not how lovely your home is.
Right.
Tell me something in 20 seconds that's going to make me want to listen to you even longer.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily have to be about the product.
Right. See, probably 20 years ago, I didn't want to be bothered. Now, when someone door knocks...
You want to hear it.
Well, I do, because I have such respect when, a kid's walking around in the heat, doing whatever they're doing, knocking on doors. Even the cold call's a different situation now because there's too many of them. But when they door knock, the first thing I think of, would I hire this guy?
Would I hire this guy?
Right.
My first thought is this how I sound?
Right. Or, this is a young kid. he's pitching me and he's saying stuff, and I know, like, oh, like I have an appreciation because I know all the stupid stuff I would say was, without experience and whatnot, and I like hearing it now, and so I'm more intrigued, and I have tremendous respect because you see a lot of the Verizon, the Cablevision guys.
Yep, they're always around.
And now, if I see a good guy, I'm kind of like, hey, let me get your resume.
I was at Jersey Mike's last night,
Right.
getting my sandwich. I was in the deli industry for over 12 years. Kids, they're all doing their thing, and the kid goes to rip the paper, and he fucks it up. And
Rip.
to wrap the sandwich.
Okay.
And it's on a spool underneath the counter, and he's ripping it, and he's destroying the edge. Once for the one half, twice for the other one. And I said, dude, you got to work on that. And I saw everyone's ears perk up. I said, you got to get the wrist pull of it. Otherwise, all your sandwiches are going to look like crap when they're wrapped up with these ragged edges. Pull it like this.
Right.
I hear the guy over here, I told him that last week. He didn't listen to me. And then the kid does it. And he pulls off a perfect rip. And I said, that's 12 years in the deli industry, just trying to help you.
Well, and you see, when you go just around, and the customer service and the, like if you go to Target, you go to some of the other places, they don't even, hey, sir, how are you?
Nope.
The rarity when someone can engage in a conversation, and I feel like that's such like a lost.
Well, it's the ones that don't have a tip jar in front of them.
Oh, well,
anyone who has a tip jar, they're actually on their best behavior.
Well, the tip jar, but now you also have the credit cards where.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like it's
You're getting zero for making my bagel.
Overly excessive. What would be some of the best traits that you would consider a successful salesperson to have? Or what would be some of how would you behave?
Public speaking.
Okay.
Being comfortable speaking in front of.
How do you get comfortable speaking?
How do you get comfortable speaking?
Let's say you're a young guy, you're inexperienced, you're shy. How do you break that shell? Because again, it's not that, it's probably the majority more than the.
That's a personal thing, and that's with more door knocks.
Mm-hmm.
More door knocks. Okay, you're not ready for a group, but let's work on one person. Let's see. You
could pitch small.
Pitch small. Yeah, one person. Work on it. Craft it. Do it again.
How important do you consider the way a person follows up?
Extremely. Don't text me from the parking lot after I just met you.
Well, here's another thing. So I have this weird thing. I feel like when texting is a personal thing.
True.
But a lot of people who I've never.
That's where they communicate.
Right. So
you have to identify.
So if you're training a young, let's suppose you have a sales team, 10 guys under you, whatever the case may be. I'm going to my security days, right? What do you recommend? How do you handle follow-up?
So for me, and again, it's in my original email when I'm doing a cold call email, it says, I will communicate however you like. Phone, text, email. Happy to do all three. You have to open your mind to, you may not be emailing, you may not be getting on the phone, and you may not be texting. But you have to find the happy spot for this person.
That's good.
How they want to communicate. Put it in their ball. If you tell a guy to email, who's only a texter, he's telling you to fuck off because he's not an emailer. He's not going to go look at that email until 9 o'clock tonight.
Right. What do you tell a person who's doing sales and legitimately they don't know the answer? Do they exaggerate? Do they
lie?
Do they lie? Do they come back honestly? What do you recommend?
It happens so rarely in my time, but it's happened 3 times in my time. And each time I just went right at it. Says, I don't know the answer, but by the end of today, I will know that answer.
Again, you recommend, and this is what I tell people.
Being honest.
And listen, I have the same situation. I get called to the carpet several times on why did this, financial situation occur, and sometimes I just don't know, and I can't,
I'm not going to make up a story just to get you off the phone.
Yeah, and so one of and I think the guidance would be, listen, even if you don't know the answer, that's a better answer
than making shit up.
Right, exactly.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the last show. I never want to lie again in the business industry. I know I was only 25 years old when it happened, but I'm 62 now. I haven't lied in the industry since because you just got to be honest with people.
Right, and I'm not, and sometimes you have, like I say this, I'm not smart enough to be dishonest because when you cover that it's like, oh shit, what did I say?
What did I say?
Yeah, I'd rather
let
just
me think
I
back.
just rather
What did
go,
I
yeah,
tell them?
Right.
If you told them the truth, you don't have to think back.
Right. So the other thing would be is how do you coach? It's not follow up, but being persistent without being annoying.
Put it in their court, okay? Have the meeting end. Is it okay if I follow up with you? I always ask that question when I'm meeting people out and about. Is it okay if I follow up with you? Okay, great. Here are my digits. Great. Do you have an email? Here's my card.
How many follow-ups are appropriate until you basically say
walk away?
Yeah.
4 over the 6 month period.
Over 6, okay.
Over 6 months. 4 touches. It's funny because I was doing some of that work yesterday, and I was like, okay, talk to them in January. It's now June. I give them one more shout in December. We're done. But just 4 touches before I say fuck off.
I was one of the companies in California. We were moving to a PEO, or potentially moving the health insurance coverage, and we were dealing with this one PEO, and the guy kept hitting me on LinkedIn. Finally said, oh, let me have the pitch. We do the pitch. This dude hit me, I want to say, for 3 weeks straight, every day, between texting, and so finally I was like, you know what? I was so I don't care if this is better pricing. I can't deal with this. You know, and it just stands out today. It's like what not to, and it's a major PEO firm. Yeah.
You know, I use the task, so I have a calendar that tells me when that 3 months is, so I don't come in early.
Right.
You know, you got to use it.
So here's in my world, a lot of times you have a salesperson, you might have a role, and one thing I never want to hear, it's not my job, right? I can't. My title might be CFO, CEO, whatever you want to call me. I don't know if my job description is just a portion, but my job is everything.
But if I need to do this, I'm doing this.
And that's one of the biggest things I would say is if everyone says, "Oh, that's not my job," that's not, dude, that is
that's
dated
not
thinking.
team speaking,
and that's dated thinking. I think in today's world. So as a salesperson, a lot of times you get multiple hats. When do you see, in my world, a lot of times a salesperson, the difference between a salesperson and a real move the needle is the ability to do customer care. When do you see that, as you know, as you're a young guy, young girl in the world, and you're selling, and there's a level of customer care, because it's not you sell and you move on.
Right.
When do you see that transition, or when did that occur for you when you realized it wasn't just about being a salesperson, but you're really more of a customer care / account management?
You know, I did sales in restaurants in the city. Wasn't really selling. Managed. When I went to work for Olin Mills, and I took over a territory that had been beat down for the past 5 years.
Right.
I finally got one pastor to tell me what was the biggest problem, and they said follow up. We never got our yearbooks. No one helped us put together the yearbooks. And I turned to him, and the fucking light bulb went on, Mark. And I looked at him and said, if I promised you that I came back for 3 hours to sit with you, your team, your chair lady, and put it together and put it in an envelope and shipped it out the day I come, would you do this program? And he said to me, in a heartbeat.
Right. And I think that, at least what I see, when you hire a salesperson, I don't even know if there's really, at least in my world, there's a salesperson, and that's almost like one little part of the job now, because a salesperson, to me, to really excel, almost becomes like that customer care, customer facing, customer advocate.
Yep.
And in today's world, it's so hard to differentiate things, and I think what people are buying, and I say this to all the companies, I think people are buying from people more now than ever before, and the likability factor.
One of these days, my bosses will ask me why I'm so successful, and it's this piece right here. Customers want to work with me because I'm a problem solver. I'm not going to jerk you around. I'm not going to waste time.
Right.
If I can't solve it, I'm sending it off to someone who will solve it. You're going to get follow-up. You're going to get taken care of like you are important. My bosses think the business just flows in, and it would stay within pods. It would stay within pods, whether you called them or not. And I said, you're leaving too much to chance.
Right.
You're chancing that the 1-800 number or the website is working properly that day. You're hoping that the person in the Philippines who's answering the phone has the answers for them. But when they call me, they know I have the answers for them.
Right. I know we're running late, I guess, but I could do this all day with you. But one thing I'll just go in to move on. I think one other thing in today's world that's different is no matter what your role is, I think with sales or management, I think there's one thing, and you're almost like a therapist as well.
Yeah.
You're a confidant, associate, whatever you want to call it. But I think a lot of what helps a person move their career is the ability to kind of work with other people and almost act like the therapist. So for salesperson, yeah, you're fixing a problem, but you're helping. You're basically easing someone's tension.
And
right?
I feel it. And I feel it when I do it. And I know how quickly I do it. And my bosses will say, you shouldn't be doing that. That's somebody else's job. And it's like, by the time it takes me to send that email for somebody else to do it, it's already done.
I would tell you in my positions, I would say there's a big chunk of that which is therapeutic. And, you know, especially if you do a lot of M&A or there's a lot of emotions, and how you can kind of coach people along or basically keep a level head, whether you're just fresh out of school or whether you're a 40-year veteran at this point in time. I think that ability to have a level head and work with people, because this world is so dynamic and there's some things are so emotionally charged.
This world is becoming very impersonal.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and when people find someone who they can get personal with, they really like it.
People buy from people.
People buy from people. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure. We'll be back in September. We have Tequila Tuesday coming up on...
We got Tequila Tuesday.
September 8th.
September 8th. The Comac Chamber has this big kickball event with Nooks and Socials on
When is that?
September 22nd.
September 22nd.
Which will probably be my last physical activity for a while until I go on the bench. That is going to be at the Suffolk JCC.
Suffolk JCC. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And I'll have to be partaking in that. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back with a new guest on our next show.